Hello and welcome back guys to another F1 video. Today we'll be racing the Brazil Grand Prix for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. We currently sit in 10th in the standings with 20 points over Yuki Tsunoda and Gasly, who both have 17 points in 11th and 12th. We currently sit in 6th in the Constructors on 37 points over Visa Cash App RB, who are on 21 points. Still two pointless teams for Kick Sauber and Haas, yet to score a point for the season. We'll see if they're able to score points in the final few races. We are going to be taking a grid penalty this race, as long as it works, because I've seen, well, by testing myself, there has been a glitch where it hasn't actually registered the grid penalty. But we'll see if we take that today in the race. We'll simulate through the rest of the week, as we have an upgrade that's coming on, the front wing gurney flap, which is on the car.
Without any issue, so they'll be on the car ready for the next race weekend.
And now we'll simulate to the Grand Prix. Now on to qualifying.
It's a Saturday showdown. Anyone fancy some hot laps around Interlagos? It's qualifying day here for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix.
As we go on to our lap, we're hoping that we can get something out of this sprint qualifying, as we will not have a grid penalty for the sprint, but we will have a penalty for the race. We go through the first couple corners, we go very wide in that corner, go onto the straight, ERS and DRS on deploy. We go P6, which is a good start for qualifying. Max Verstappen tops the session over Norris and Hamilton. We come in P12 as our teammate comes in P11. Ricciardo, Bottas, Albon, Zhou Guanyu and Sargent all out. The two Saubers, the two Williams and one Visa Cash App RB all out of the session. Both Hasses get through in P13 and 15. Onto our first lap we go. We round the finals part of the straight into the first couple turns. Hopefully we can get somewhere near P11 to give ourselves any chance of getting points in the sprint race today. We're onto the straight, onto the final part of the lap, and we go into P3 above Perez and a Gasly. Alonso tops the session over Verstappen and Perez. We come in P10 and just sneak through to Q3, as Gasly just gets eliminated in P11. Stroll, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Hulkenberg and Gasly, the 5 drivers out of the session, as we go into sprint qualifying 3. We go on the straight to start our final lap of qualifying, as we get a decent start with from the apexes being hit. We've got Piastri and Alonso ahead of us who just finished their laps, as we are the only one who hasn't finished a lap yet. Hopefully he gets out of the lane, and he does. We go around these corners. Anywhere from here would be a delightful thing to see for us, as we would like to get as high as we possibly can in this qualifying to set us up for the race, as our teammate will be down in P11, so he'll be around about there to fight for points as well. We go on straight for a final part of the lap. We put ourselves in P6 in this qualifying session, as that'll give us a chance to fight for points in the race. We're probably not going to do another run in qualifying, so that will be our final lap that we put on. Verstappen tops the timing sheets with his 1:86. Charles Leclerc in second and Alonso third. Piastri fourth, Carlos Sainz fifth, Norris sixth, seventh to Perez, myself gets eighth, and the two Mercedes in ninth and 10th. On to the sprint race.
Forget pit stops, forget fuel management. It's pedal to the metal all the way here as we get ready for today's sprint. It's an unusual anti-clockwise race here at Interlagos, where the Sao Paulo locals are packed into the grandstands at each of the 15 corners around this classic 2.7-mile circuit. Two very fast sections bookend the famous and highly technical Sector 2, where getting a good run out of Junsao into one of the two DRS zones will be key to any overtaking prospects today. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Fernando Alonso, Oscar Piastri, Sainz, Norris, Perez, Russell, Hamilton, Gasly, Stroll, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Hülkenberg, Ricciardo, Bottas, Albon, Joe, Sargent, and Daniel. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out. And striding into our commentary box to join us today, the man, the myth, the legend, Anthony Davidson. Well, they say that a change is as good as a rest, and whilst there's not much rest on show in the sprint format today, there's definitely a change to what we're usually seeing on the track. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
Okay, so for strategy today, we'll be doing most likely either softs or mediums all the way. Probably go with softs for ourselves.
Here we go then, the formation lap is underway ahead of today's sprint. We're almost ready to start the sprint as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
Five red lights. And away we go for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Get a decent start off the line as we look to go down the inside of Sargent here into turn 1. We do. And we get turned by a couple drivers as he keeps pushing us and I can't control it. Will we have a safety car or not is the question. Looks like we're not going to have one, and we're not, so we're going to be well and truly down on this, as we're currently in 18th, and both Williams got in our way and didn't let us through. No underfloor damage luckily. so we're not screwed up in the race at all.
Okay, so
Stroll
gap
and
to the car
Hulkenberg
ahead,
battling against each other ahead,
3.9 seconds.
as Stroll keeps the position on Hulkenberg. Currently not catching the team of drivers ahead yet. Still quite far behind and not really catching them. We haven't been for a few laps, we've been getting the same times and not catching them. But we did start catching them when we're on fresher tyres. Stroll and Hulkenberg battling ahead. Position is Hulkenberg takes the position on the straight. We got Albon catching us from behind. He's only 4 seconds behind us now, as Zhou is 2.9 seconds
Okay,
up
be
the
aware,
road.
the grip levels are going to start falling away soon.
We've now collected DRS on Stroll. As we get closer and closer through the straight, we catch up going down
Right, the gap
or
to the teammate
uphill,
ahead of us, 7.1
and
seconds.
he locks up and we get the position. He's caused himself to go off the track and is now further back near Albon, as we gain the position out of that. It's good for us, not so good for Aston Martin. As Bottas and Hulkenberg battle ahead, the position,
Okay, clear.
as we look to keep our ways and get Joe caught up soon.
You're pulling out a
In the
second
last
and
couple
lap
laps.
from the car behind. Really good stuff.
We use ARS and DRS down the straight to catch up to Joe. So we go to the inside, we brake, and we get the move done into turn 1 up to P16.
Good job.
Getting some late moves on drivers here is now we have to catch up to Bottas, as Joe's going to have the DRS on us as he goes down the inside. We stick it around the outside, looking to hold the position. As we keep it close, Joe has enough traction though to get the position, so Joe will keep the position. But he's leaving room along the outside as we go for the move. We take the outside line, we keep holding that line. We go into these turns, turning into the inside line, as we're able to get him out the way and get the position up to B16 successfully. As now we look to chase down Hulkenberg and Bottas. Joe looking to make the move now, as he goes down the inside. We stick behind him, as we're going to have DRS on this next straight. We have to correct the car going out of that turn. DRS and a little bit of ERS that we can use as we go down the straight, and it seems like he's going to be able to hold his own, and he gets the position successfully. We've got one more chance at overtaking him, which will be on the DRS straight, on the main straight of this race, to get the position. Charles Leclerc wins the sprint race, as we're going to come home for most likely a P17 unless we get enough DRS and overtake on here. We use our overtake, we get our DRS, chase him down the straight. It's not going to be enough, it'll be P17 for us.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Well, that's an end to the sprint action. Next up, we'll set the grid for the Grand Prix. So we'll see you next time.
Charles Leclerc P1, over Fernando Alonso and Verstappen in P2 and 3. Our teammate gets P10 in the end, as he had somewhat decent race, keeping his grid position. And we finished in 17th. We got a collision lap 1, which caused us to be out the race pretty much. And we ended up being able to overtake one person who wasn't involved in that. And we also had a good battle against Zhou Guan Yu for the race.
It's a Saturday showdown. Anyone fancy some hot laps around Interlagos? It's qualifying day here for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix.
And so we go over the line to start our final lap of qualifying one, as we're looking to get ourselves through to Q2 here in the softs, as the mediums didn't work in our first lap, as we only got P18 out of the mediums. So we'll be looking for more with the softs, as we're already up by a couple tenths.
Okay, 1 minute remaining, just 1 minute.
We go purple first sector of the lap, as we look to do whatever we can in the second sector to get us up on the grid too. As we go foot flat to the floor, we look to go over the line. Russell's right behind us, and we go P9 with that time. Verstappen tops the timing sheets with a 1:08.1, 4 tenths better than the next best was Charles Leclerc, and then Piastri in P3. We get P10 with a 1:09.3, as our teammate gets eliminated in Q1 with a 1:09.7, as he seems to have not gone out for a second lap and thought the first one would have got him through, but it didn't. As we have the Alpine Gasly, Shogren New, Sargent, Magnussen and Hulkenberg all out of Q1. And now we go to our first lap of Q2, and our only lap in Q2, as we're planning on saving a set of softs for the race just in case.
Okay, we've been pushed down to
And
P12.
we don't need to put on a second lap. We go foot flat to the floor on the last part of the lap. We look to go as high as we possibly can on the grid, as we set a 1:09.2, better than our Q2 time that we got through on. So the track's either improved or we've improved our lap.
Okay, we've only got...
Norris tops the session with a 1:08.5 over Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz. We just sneaked through in P10, as Alonso improved and was able to go higher than us, and Stroll missed out by 0.003 of a second, as Stroll, Ricciardo, Bottas, Tsunoda and Albon are all out the session. We go as fast as we can down the straight. We go into the first turn. We're on a used set of softs, so I don't expect this to get anywhere, as the worst time out of these 9 drivers is a 1:08.9, and our best time is a 1:09.2, which did have a chance of being slightly improved, but not by 3 tenths. So we're most likely going to finish in P10 for this session unless the track has improved. Go as fast as we possibly can using DRS and ERS down the straight, as we look to set a time of 1:09, which isn't going to be any upgrade in position, so we'll start P10 in the race. Max Verstappen tops the session over Leclerc and Sainz. Norris P4, 5 to Perez, Oscar Piastri 6th, Alonso 7th, the Mercedes in 8th and 9th, and ourselves in 10th with a 1:09.06. On to the race.
Welcome along then to where heroes and history are made. It's where the 2008 title was decided in the very final corner. And just 1 year later, Jenson Button stormed through from 14th on the grid to claim his one and only Drivers' Championship. It's time then for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Interlagos, always a very special race here in Brazil. It's a 2.7 mile circuit with 9 lefts and 6 rights for a total of 15 corners. The fastest lap today should have an average speed of around 135 miles per hour, if, of course, the weather stays dry until the end of the Grand Prix. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Norris, Perez, Oscar Piastri, Fernando Alonso, Russell, Hamilton, Daniel, Ricciardo, Bottas, Sainz, Tsunoda, Albon, Gasly, Joe, Sargent, Magnussen, Hulkenberg, and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. And alongside me today is a man who needs no introduction, but I'll try anyway. It's Ant Davidson. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
So for strategy today, we'll be doing medium hards in the race, because that's the regular strategy that you would do. We're going to do about 15 or 16 laps in the mediums and 20 or 21 laps in the hards.
The formation lap gets underway here in Brazil. Some memorable moments in history have come from this very circuit. Will we be treated to another today? Well, let's find out. As the cars make their way back to the starting grid to form up and get ready for lights out, let's hope the race ahead today is a thrilling one that will go down as a memorable Grand Prix in the history books.
Away we go for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. We get a decent start off the line here, as Russell has a pretty good start. We just stick to the outside line around the outside of Hamilton as he brushes up against the line. We stay behind Piastri in P8 as we look to get emerged past him. We can't make a move going into this corner, but Hamilton has. Hamilton takes the position nicely away from us as we go back into P9. Sainz seems to have a good start as he's up into P10 after having a grid drop from his grid penalty. For some reason our penalty only went on for the sprint race and didn't go on for the race. I don't know why we shouldn't have had a penalty in the sprint, but we should have had the penalty for this race. But it's worked out in our favour, so I'm not going to complain about it. As we look to trail behind Hamilton, as we'll look to overtake him on the straight here with ERS deployed. As we round the final corner of this track, and we are open, well, we use our ERS. ERS isn't available yet, so we won't have that open. As we round the final part of the track to go over the line for the finish of the first lap. We've got 35 laps to go in the race, as we will have to put on cruise mode for most of the race, as we'll just have to stick behind other drivers, or we'll just not be fast enough to stay with them. Hamilton looks to be covering the inside line, as we look to the outside but we can't make a move. We look to the inside, no move made, a little bit of contact, but nothing to harm each other's race. As we look for any ways we can pass Hamilton, he's covering off well though. He's staying ahead. We look to use ERS and DRS to overtake Hamilton on the straight, as DRS is enabled now, so we'll be able to use that during the race. As we use ERS and DRS down the straight, we look to go down the inside, but we don't take it, as someone's had a lock up. Not sure who, but someone has. As we round the first turn of the track, or the second turn of the track. Ricardo has seemingly fallen out of the DRS of Sainz, so now that pack is separated from us, as now there is a top 10 in the making here. Unless things go wrong, as we have mechanical failures, that could happen. We're yet to have a mechanical failure in this season, in this career mode, so we'll see if that happens today. As Sainz looks to go around the outside, we hold the inside line. We break into turn 1 and we're able to cover him off as we take a position. Joe fighting Ricardo for P11 at the moment, as he's on the softs and he's well and truly looking good on them, but they will die out later into the race. Ricardo and Joe still battling behind as they look to take positions on each other, except it's not going to matter as neither of them getting points in that position. As Joe looks to pass Ricardo to catch up to us, but he's currently 3 seconds back behind us, so he's not in the greatest position there, as Ricardo is able to keep the position of P11. Sainz steaming behind as he looks to pass us on the outside. We start deploying ERS to keep ourselves in touch with Sainz, and we keep our position on Sainz, so we stay in P9. Sainz with DRS and ERS going down the straight, looks to go around the outside, he does, and we keep the inside line on him, as we take the inside line, but we can't keep up with Sainz as Sainz goes around the outside with his good traction. But we do have DRS on the straight and a little bit of ERS to deploy, so we look to come back at him, but he's too far ahead. So down the straight we go, we use ERS and we gain DRS here as well. We look to pass Sainz on the inside as we go to the inside of the track, and we hold the line as Sainz takes the outside line, which turns into the inside line, but we're able to have more traction and we get through, so we're up into P9 now as Sainz sits behind us with DRS on, but we're too fast for him as we take P9 off of him. Sainz goes down the inside to make a move. We give him room, but he's able to get through, and he will take the position off of us. So we're back down to P10 and he's up to P9. As we look to go down the inside here into this turn, we put our car there, he leaves us the room, and we aren't quite able to take a position yet, as he keeps going down the inside into that last turn, now to the outside, as we're able to make the position. We're still side by side down the straight, as we go a little off course and we have to give him the position.
Keep an eye on your distance to the speed limit line as you approach and make sure you don't speed.
But we will have DRS down the straight, so we might be able to grab the position back as we have enough ERS too. So we use that down the straight with the DRS, but we look to be too far behind as we will have to settle behind him.
Hitting this lap then, come into the pits at the end of this lap.
Then we come into the pits for our pit stop. We look to undercut the drivers ahead and like Sainz. We get an optimal stopping time as we're in the pits for a pit stop. Our teammate seems to be coming in as well, as we've been let out late as we had an issue with putting on the rear tyre. And now we come out of the pits to enter back onto the track.
Problem attaching the left rear wheel. We need to try and put that behind us though, and let's finish this race strong. That was our
so we
last
emerge
stop.
back out in 15th position, as our teammate must have emerged out in P18 for his stop.
Great work. That's a
We
new
go fastest on
lap of the
track
race.
with a 1:11.1, as we're going to emerge out with Piastri. We're just ahead of Piastri. Piastri goes down the inside looking for a position. He will back out and not make the move though, so we're able to hold our position in P8. Piastri goes down the inside this time, and he looks to make the position as we leave him the space, and he's able to make the move, and he will hold on to that position, just ahead. Hamilton and Russell battling again going into turn 1, as Russell has the inside line for turn 2, but Hamilton has the inside line for turn 3 as we have enough traction out of the corner that we could go for a move on Piastri. So we look to the inside or the outside, and he's trying to make a move on Russell at the same time, so we back out and we don't take the position, but Hamilton has the position on Russell in P6. We gain enough traction out of the corner that we could possibly get a move on Piastri, as Russell and Hamilton continue their battle in turn 1. As Piastri goes for a move, we go down the outside looking for a position, and we're able to gain one on Russell, but Piastri was still battling with as he takes the position. So Russell's lost three positions in not very long. Piastri making the move on Hamilton around the outside. As we gain traction out the corner, we bang tyres with Piastri, as Piastri ain't able to make the move. So I'll have to stay behind him as well as we look to the outside, but can't make it. Russell goes on the inside and make contact. We didn't really leave enough room there for Russell, as now we do. He leaves room for us as we are able to keep the position on Russell.
Okay, you've just started the final lap of the race.
Piastri and Hamilton going too wide into the turn, as Hamilton has a bad exit, and we look to go past him here with ERS and DRS. As we get our way, we go behind Hamilton looking for a position to make. Round the outside a little onto the grass, which is going to mess us up going into the corner. As Russell looks to the inside of us to make position, and he continues around the outside into this turn, and he's backed out of the position as we go a little off track, and we're going to have to fend him off a little bit more of the race. Down the final straight as we go, we got ERS and DRS on. It's not going to be enough for us to catch Hamilton as Charles Leclerc wins the race over Verstappen. We come home for P8 with the fastest lap.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
And it's Monaco go for Charles Leclerc as he takes the checkered flag and wins.
And it's always good, Crofty, to get that momentum on your side, and it's really good for your confidence as well. The more confident you are, the further that can take you.
Ferrari are at it again. An excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Charles Leclerc wins the race over Alonso and Verstappen, who round off the podium. We came in P8, getting 5 points for the team as we got the fastest lap by 0.2 of a second, as we have our teammate who came in P11 in the end. A decent drive from him today, as he was stuck behind slower drivers, as our car is much quicker than the Visa Cash App and the Sauer. Driver standings, Max Verstappen is leading by quite a big margin, by 76 points, as Lando Norris in P2 and Charles Leclerc P3, as we're in P10 right now with 25 points to Gasly's 17 in P12. Yuki Tsunoda also in 17 points in P11. As we go to the constructors, Red Bull lead by 26 points over McLaren, 400 to 374, over Ferrari, who are in P3 with 281. We're in P6 with 42 points, double what Visa Cash App have. Visa Cash App haven't scored for a while now, as they've only scored 1 point in about the last 7 or 8 races, as Williams have 4 points and Kicksauber and Haas still pointless on 0 points. We gain experience, racecraft awareness, pace and focus as we go up to level 74 in our overall rating. We're currently 49% to 51%. We regained that 1% that we lost from one of the earlier races in the season, as now we're up to 49%. We gain a level on material fabrication planner, as that's now up to level 2. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more racing content. Be tuned for the next part 14 of the series, where we go to Las Vegas for the race. See ya and goodbye.